My relationship with the LDS Church is I have it through my family history. We have pioneer ancestors that were like some of the first into the valley.
Currently active, but in terms of actually believing in it, I haven't for probably 4 years now.
My relationship with the LDS Church is I'm a current active member.
My family stopped going a few years before me. I kept going just because I was a kid and I didn't really understand why they stopped.
My relationship with the LDS Church, I have never been a part of the LDS Church. I was raised Catholic.
I am a full tithe-paying member.
I grew up in it until around 2015-ish is when my whole family left.
I think our generation has changed the LDS Church because I see more young people like giving room for leaving and having questions and being more supportive of concepts and like ideas that older members can't really wrap their heads around.
A lot of our generation tends to be more open-minded, and I think that could partly be because of social media and technology. Our generation specifically, more than other generations, has had a lot more access to the world, because without that, if you live here and all of your friends are Mormon, that's all you have.
The man who is in charge of putting the will of God onto the earth is saying to the youth that he trusts them, they have a power, they have an authority.
If you're in the LDS Church, this is like quote unquote the most powerful generation. The prophet focuses on the youth a lot at General Conference, and my parents are like, this is amazing, you're part of the last generation, and I'm like, do you realize they're hemorrhaging us at the seam? Basically, they can't keep us there.
I think that a lot of people within the church don't realize the extent of the controversy. Like, I think a lot of them realize that there is something with it, but they don't know exactly what it is, especially because it's really hard to recognize things like racism and homophobia when you're white and cis and straight.
So I think like the biggest thing is just if Mormons could just like open their eyes a little bit and just like actually listen to what people of color and people of the queer community have to say.
I think our generation of LDS members is definitely facing modern problems head on, but the institution as a whole is not.
It breaks my heart that there are people who've been cast out because in the name of the church, and who have been sent away from their families in the name of the church, and who have been tried to be changed in the name of the church. I hate that so much, because one of the fundamental principles is we were made by God exactly, so we're made to be exactly who we're supposed to be. I know it causes a lot of hurt to people, and I just hate to see people like hurting themselves because of something that my church said, and it just breaks my heart when they put out policies or something like that where it's just like hurtful to people, and it breaks my heart.
He does not want any of his children to be treated differently by any of his other children for something they cannot control.
I think our generation is changing religion in the way that a lot of us aren't necessarily attending church at the rate as which our at least 2 generations back are, because millennials have been shrugging it off sort of, and Gen Z has definitely been keeping up with more things, more political and civil rights movement, human rights, that the church sometimes just shoves to the side.
Our generation is changing religion in general a lot, just because there's a big outpouring of people who are pulling away from religion to form their own opinions and ideas.
I think our generation, being the most informed generation, has changed it a lot because they can see the good things, because I will admit there are some net positives about religion, but it can also see all of its dirty laundry.
And as our mentality changes and our ideas and opinions change, it's going to change the church with it, because the church is made up of people, and so it's the people that are going to change it. So as our minds are getting more open to more things, I personally hope that that will open the church as a whole to be more open to new things.
So although I think we can help change, it'll take a lot.
I would imagine that they would feel like they can't change their policies because they've always said that we know the truth, and then changing it after, once they've learned something, that would probably be one of the reasons that they haven't changed.
I think if you are not debating and you are not questioning everything, then it has all the power. Once you start debating and questioning things, the power immediately goes back to the people.
Just as a closing thought, whatever your religion is, do your research about what's going on in the world and what's going on within your religion, and find what you believe in, and find if it's bad. Just look at it from an objective standpoint. If it's hurting people or making people feel bad in any way, consider stopping it. It's not good if your religion spreads hate.
Because we've got 2 Nephi 26:33, which says, all are alike that come unto God, male and female, bond and free, Jew and Gentile, black and white. So that's destroys bigotry right there.